Tell us about the writing of sketches. So something like this, or the sketches in general.
Well,
that we sort of two of you in a room for
yeah, I mean,
a writing session for like 3 hours.
Yeah, you know, we used to do office hours, and you know, it's so much easier if you've got a writing partner that you're bouncing ideas off, and you know that if you can make them laugh, you're kind of halfway there. And as I said before, Paul and I come at things from completely different directions. He's very sort of spontaneous and instinctive, and he's very good at impersonating people, you know, and I tend to come at it from a slightly more anal structural point of view. So he'll throw ideas out and I'll think, oh, how can we make that into a sketch? And yeah, and it sort of pulls together between the two of us. You know, I remember, you know, he came in one day and said, what about a character that coughs? I thought, yes, I don't know why, but there's something intrinsically funny about a guy who can't stop coughing. So then you think, okay, well, what would be a completely inappropriate job for someone who coughs? What about a TV presenter? Okay, yes, a TV presenter who can't stop coughing. And then we sort of talked about some of our favorite presenters and things. And we were both big fans of Jack Hargreaves when we were growing up, who had a fantastic show called, I think, Out of Town, yes. And he presented it from his shed and he talked about country matters. So he said, yeah, okay, great. Yeah, so it'll be a sort of Jack Hargreaves figure who can't stop coughing. And the sort of crux of it is that he has no self-awareness. He has no concept that he is coughing at all. So, you know, that's how things.
What about Ted and Ralph? What was the genesis of them?
Well, that actually, that wasn't our idea at all. It was Graham Linehan and Arthur Matthews, who famously wrote Father Ted. At the time, they were jobbing sketch show writers, and they'd been writing stuff for us. And we went down to the pub with them one night and said, it's quite close to filming the first series. We said, you know, have you got anything else? And they said, well, we've got this idea. We're not quite sure, but and we said, well, just show us. And so they acted it out, the two of them in the pub. And it was one of those things you think, I don't know why this is funny, because they're not really doing or saying anything particularly funny, but something about that relationship, the inappropriateness of Ralph trying to ask his gardener out on basically out on a date, it just seemed very funny, and you know, they became one of the most popular characters on the show, even though they weren't fast at all. The sketches were quite long and slow, and often nothing happened at all. But people sort of bought into the relationship and seemed to like that. And I could channel my teenage self of trying to chat up girls in discos and failing miserably, and put all that into my relationship with Ted. And it was huge fun working with Paul, you know, because we knew each other so well and we trusted each other. It was great fun doing any kind of double act things with him.